Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us for Level Up with me, Lindy Pearson. Today, I am lucky enough to have a guest on this episode who I have known, I think, arguably to some, but since second or third grade. We've managed to do elementary, some elementary, all of middle, some high school, but not college. So I don't know too many people who can have all those things. She is a perfect example of when you let your passion, your creativity, your hobbies, your habits really take on its own persona. And she has now started her own business. It's kind of like business by accident, but is now thriving. And without further ado, my good friend Jodi Mannis from Good Vibes Cookie Company.
Hi.
Thank you for taking this Saturday off and spending some time with me to chat about things. As you can see, I'm in the office. I couldn't stay at home today. We had kids coming in and out. We had internet freezing, and I just needed some good quiet time. So no one's here right now. It's a little bit eerie. The lights kind of flicker on and off due to lack of anyone being in here. But Jodi, again, back to you. You tell me, what have you been doing that has led you to any of this, led you to even think about starting your own business? To me, growing up with you, every time in art class or any sort of outfit or costume or, putting everything together, like your whole life is like one big canvas. It was like, oh, don't look at what Jodi's doing because she's awesome. She's the best. But there's so much other things. How did you do this? How did you come up with this?
Well, my cookies were just a part of our everyday life. I cook with my kids. I bake with my kids. I do all these things. We paint, we sculpt, we just do anything crazy. I'm willing to try anything and everything, basically, because why not? And I made them just out of pure love. They were made for Valentine's Day for my kids, taking the favorite things, my most favorite things, cooking and crystals and painting and creativity, and just blending them together. It was not set out to be a business venture. It was set out to be a Valentine's gift to my kids. And that was it. So
I love it. Some of the other stuff that we shared, like kids, like marriage and divorce and starting over, I feel like you've had such a colorful line of jobs. You've done so many things. And I know that, baking isn't necessarily in the fashion world, but you've had so much stuff with branding. You've had, print work, digital work. What are some of the cool, fun jobs that you've had? And along the way, what are some of what's like the hardest lesson you've ever learned?
Well, this pivot of my life was definitely a part of the path, a life path, all the things that layered together to make this. Out of college, I was lucky enough, I landed a graphic design job, branding job with Guess Jeans. Like, what 21-year-old does that? And I was stoked, and I was working, with all these different people and all these creative people, and they were hearing my voice, and I was able to do things. And I remember the first time I saw one of the t-shirts on the billboard on Sunset Boulevard, and walking down the street and seeing something I made on Sunset Boulevard. It was just like such a wow thing. So out of college, I've done so much. Out of college, I worked for Guess, and little by little, I became a fashion designer for them. So that's where that layer is. I never thought I was going to do that. I honestly had no interest when they approached me to level up and stop graphic design and do clothing design. I looked at them and I told them they were crazy. Little did I know that was a part of my life path, like everything else. It all layers. Yeah. I've done so much, like I know how to weld. I know how to sculpt. It's all parts. The best parts of me are in Good Vibes, I guess, is the way.
You probably painted that wall behind you too.
Yeah, I did. I painted the wall with a broom, not even with a paintbrush. I painted with a broom just one day in quarantine. I was bored and I just kind of felt like my room needed a level up, and so I painted the wall. That photograph is something I took when I was in Cuba, which is definitely a part of who I am when I travel. I take, the sights, the sounds, the flavors, the tastes, and they come back in some sort of fashion with what I do in life.
Right. So, all this passion, all this great energy, all this motivation, and good praise, which you absolutely do deserve. I've been watching you since day one, which I think I might be able to still say I was the first order. First batch. Mother's
Day 2018.
Okay.
You bought 2 of the 4 boxes, and honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. I was thinking I was just going to sell a few boxes just to help me, being a single mom. I needed some extra money. I was going to do it just to help make ends meet, to send my kids to summer school so I could work my other job. I didn't realize nor know that, those 4 boxes would become like my happily ever after. I never expected this.
I love it. In your happily ever after, what could you give to other people who are thinking about something like this, especially during these times, being in COVID and, working from anywhere and having a lot of downtime for reflection? What are some of the things that didn't taste so good, didn't taste good like your cookies, something that some advice or something that you went through that maybe could help others, uplift others?
Well, what brought me here, truthfully, was the pivot in life, my divorce. I never expected to be a single mom. I never expected, to have to pay bills by myself, or take care of things alone or make decisions alone.
Scary,
and the unknown. But what it did was make me try everything. Not be afraid to try things that I was afraid to do prior, not be afraid to travel in a foreign country where you didn't speak the language, and just go and you'll figure it out. Not be afraid to, I have these cookies, but now I need a box. How do I figure out what box it is? And I remember shipping my first box. I was in tears because I wasn't ready to ship, but my client was determined to get them to New York, and I was determined to support him because he was asking his partner to marry him, and I wanted to be a part of that. It was a disaster, and I failed, and it's okay, because now I ship, when things were good, I was shipping hundreds and thousands of cookies all over the United States for parties and for events and for little moments. I've done so many amazing events. So many boxes go to people when they're asking to marry, which is really ironic twist of fate that came from. Yeah.
That's so cool. You have such good stories. So let's just talk a little bit about your social media. You have your IG handle, which is your personal one, Graphics Girl, which is just as awesome as your business one, which is Good Vibes Cookie Company, or Good Vibes Cookies?
My Instagram is Good Vibes Cookie Co.
Okay. And then your website is
goodvibescookieco.com.
Okay, perfect. So you have a lot of followers. I love that all of your stuff comes on my feed. Your stories are out of this world. You incorporate all of anyone who tags you, all of anyone who wants to lift you up, everyone, just like you said, not only all over the nation, but really all over the world. People are wanting to be connected with you because of your message, because of everything that goes on. You constantly, you want to talk about level up, you and I have a relationship, and we are going to continue to strengthen that. But you're constantly making new relationships. You're constantly stoking people up. You're a part of people getting married. That is coming from the heart, capital A-R-T.
I've been there for launches of brands that are now thriving, and I've only been doing this 2 years, so this is just me launching and thriving, but it's about the whole idea behind my brand is collective energy, and that's where the brand is based. So, I am grateful for this journey. I'm grateful to be in everyone's orbit. So why not, make life fun and be together and celebrate the good stuff, and even the bad stuff I celebrate. Sometimes I send cookies for other reasons, but it's the energy you put out that you give back. It's the whole, what you give is what you get. And that's a big deal in my world in general.
Well, okay. So, a lot of people, as you know, I do a ton of networking. I'm always out talking, to people about their offices, tenant rep, commercial real estate. But there are times where I don't necessarily have the motivation. Maybe something personal is going on. Or I see someone who's a higher producer than me, and I'm thinking, that guy's so good, I can't really touch him. You sometimes get in your way. So now that you're other people's muse, you're so inspiring. Like, you're like rocking the house here. Who rocks your house? How important is it to have some sort of like a center of influence, a mentor of some sort, whether it's an author? Sometimes I describe you as a modern day Betsy Johnson. So maybe it's like something like that. How important is that? Can you let our viewers know what motivates you and why is it so important? So on the days that might be a little bit lower, you have someone to lift you up.
I look to everyone around me, whether it's a friend like you or, the average person, somebody who just bought my cookies and is telling me a story of why they bought the cookies or what's going on in their life. Yeah. But, really and truly, my motivation, even on the bad days, which I have plenty of those also, just like everyone else. Yeah. Music, it's very music driven. It's visual, it's art driven. It's interior design. It's painting, it's just doing stuff with my hands. So when I'm down, you'll see I do a lot of projects, or eating, like food makes people happy. I'm a Cancer. That's my sign. Like, that's my job. I'm supposed to feed the soul. So, I have to feed mine also.
Yeah, absolutely. Since you said Cancer, Leo over here, 15 days and counting. The messages behind your cookies, it's more than just a chocolate chip cookie. It's more about what you're yearning for, what sort of inspiration, support, comfort, being stuck at home, having something pretty to look at. How did you get into this before you even started with the cookies? Because I know just, you and I having such a long history, we've always been into good vibes, good feelings, stuff like that. So who showed you this? Was it some sort of, class that you took? Was it some sort of point where you just kind of like the lights went on and you said, you know what, this is my tribe, this is my vibe, this is my kind of people?
Well, from a very young age, I was always into crystals, even when crystals weren't like a cool thing. Way back when, I had a clear quartz that no one was allowed to touch, and I put it in the sunlight. And I used to, I always say this, tell my kids, like, I remember driving down Laurel Canyon and seeing Jim Morrison's house painted Mojo Rising on the way to Melrose, where I wanted to go buy Doc Martens and smell incense. And it was like so unconventional, but I always just kind of beat my own drum, and did it. But I learned how to paint from my grandfather. That's where a lot of this comes from. And I think that he truly is a spirit. Both my grandparents are truly spirits pushing this through, supporting me. He always wanted to be a painter, but because of the Great Depression, his family said, no, you have to go be something else. You have to help the family. So he became a pharmacist. So that's actually where the opposite end of it is, because we used to grow crystals in the backyard because he was a chemist. So we took all these things and made things grow in the backyard. So it's so many layers of my life all coming into one place. So that's where this all started many, many years ago. Never did I ever think that this would be, I didn't go to school for baking. I went to school for art. I didn't, I don't know. It just happened. It's like your life path, your life journey. I really, truly believe that you could pick and choose and pivot and turn, but it's kind of set forth,
Yeah. Now, besides your cookies, which I think are amazing and wonderful, no matter if they're decorated or not, but what other things are you getting into? I've seen on your website you have some things that you can special order. I know you've done some cakes. I know you've done pop-ups in local places, malls, New York, something like that. What would be some of the things for the viewers to look at for some new things that are on the horizon for you?
Well, definitely expanding Good Vibes, the cookie company itself. That's definitely 2020, like everyone says, oh, I was planning on doing this after I got back from my pop-up in New York. I was planning on leveling up the company and expanding. So that's number one on the list. People have been requesting, because if you look on my Instagram or look on my website, you see I do a lot of hand drawings, a lot of art. I'm going to start working more in that realm, and people are asking me, so I hear them and I do it. So I'm actually working on a Leo drawing right now today, that's Saturday. I'm going to start doing more art, maybe a little bit of dabble back into the fashion world is an ideal. And what I'm putting out to the universe, it's just expansion, because, I want to do more, and I see that my followers want more, and why not? Like, why not do it all together, right?
Boss lady, you are a boss lady. You are so inspiring. There's days we don't even do the same things, but the whole building relationships is something that I think really lives here in the heart for us. There's been times where I have given some of your boxes of cookies to people who I'm trying to meet, maybe, the CFO, or maybe they couldn't come to an event. We're not doing events right now, obviously, but couldn't come to an event. So, send those cookies, and they can't even believe it. First of all, I probably wouldn't even gotten an email back or a phone call back, but then I have those great things, and, it actually gets me in the door. So, what you're doing is awesome. I'm so proud of you. I love that you share all this with everyone, all the good stuff, all the bad stuff, the transparency, just being, a real empathetic person is what keeps your business alive, what keeps it thriving. For me, I spend a lot of time with men, being in the commercial real estate world. And I'm always driven to women and to see, how did they make it? What did they do? What was a pivotal moment? What was going on here? And, what do you do? Like, for me, I'm going to be doing stuff like this so I can spread the good word. So I can give all my viewers, something that's fun, something that's sweet, something that's motivating, something that might be like a little out of their comfort zone. What are some of the things that you do when you're stuck in like a groove? You're like stuck with, for me, sometimes it's, I don't want to go to this event. I don't want to talk to people. I don't want to be out of my comfort zone, but I do it anyways. Nowadays, we're doing podcasts, something out of my comfort zone. What is it that like helps you kind of get back on track? Because I feel like lately these days, when you have something on your calendar, you're like, yes, I'm busy, I'm this, I'm that. And then like the next 2 days, you're all, okay, now what? Now what do I do? I've already read this, I've already done this, I've already answered this. What are some of the things that you do to nurture your feminine side, your creative side, your motherly side? Because I know it sure isn't homeschooling kids.
What do I do for myself? I try to meditate every day. I really do live what I preach, which I think is a very important aspect. And I think it reflects within the community and within what I'm doing, what I'm putting out. I'm really big into hiking. I try to get you to go hiking with me all the time. But I'm just happy to be out there alone by myself with nature and get motivation from there. What else do I do? Right now it's hard to think, what did we do before COVID, right? I don't remember, but I'm still, I'm cooking and I'm painting, and I do a lot of stuff at home that people see, on my Instagram. Like, everything's pretty transparent, which is, I think, really hard, but it makes me accountable and it makes me show up and it makes me try harder. So that's a huge motivation factor, is pushing myself to the limits and doing things like this. Like you said, I'm not at all comfortable. If people know, I'm rarely on my Instagram, like my face. That's a huge thing. Doing this is a huge thing for me. I don't.
You do it effortlessly. You are so good. You need to just pat yourself on the back. I like you. You are one of my muses. Absolutely. Yeah. No. So my last two questions, you can answer them however you want. If you could have, I don't know, X amount of dollars to go to the next level, I don't know how much that is, what exactly would you do? And before we get off, what is the number one thing that has helped you in your success, whether physical, emotional, spiritually, that you can share to carry everyone on this spiritual high?
Okay, so the first question was about money, and I want to tell people and motivate people that you don't need money to get to the next level, or at least the first level. You don't need money. I literally started Good Vibes with flour and sugar and vanilla and love and salt and myself, my two hands. People think that you need $1 million to start a new company. Yes, I'm very fortunate. I do my own graphic design work, and I do a lot of stuff that most people can't do. But what you need is to surround yourself by like-minded people and people that want to help. I'm always helping friends rebrand their company or design a logo because I want to see them thrive. And in turn, I believe in karma, and karma is going to give back to me one day. When I need the help, whether it's them or someone else, we're all going to lift each other up. And that's a huge thing. So money, you asked how much money I need to get to the next level. I'm still
No. Like if money was no object, what would you be doing?
Oh, what would I be doing?
Yeah.
Out of COVID, obviously. Yeah. I would be doing some more retail shops or pop-up shops, or more in-person things. Obviously, like on a personal note, I'd be traveling, but
wouldn't we all?
Right? But with my cookies, doing more stuff. Like when I went to New York, I got to meet so many people that have been following my journey since day one, and I got to meet them in real life, which was huge, and it was a motivation factor to go to the next level. So that was a big deal. More money means more of me, hiring people. That would be ideal, because I feel like there's so much room for expansion, but there's only one of me right now. So that's the only, big hiccup right now, but all in good time,
Well, I am definitely going to be ordering some boxes from you. There are some people on my hot list that I'd like to meet, and we're just not meeting people in person at the moment. So we've been doing these little virtual happy hours, where we ship everything to them, and then we have our meeting and kind of talk about maybe some wine or the cookies or something. So I'm going to be placing an order with you. So if you receive some of her cookies, you'll know what's on my mind.
Well, what the best part about the cookies is that they actually, number one, the whole point is they connect to each other, because their energy that from me to you to the next person. So it's all a connection. But then the cool thing about it also is like crystal energy and raising your vibrations and changing the way you think. It's a conversation piece also, and it changes your mental health. How can you not be happy with something pretty? And then when you taste it, it's like your mind's blown, right? Because most things that are pretty are not tasty, and most things that are tasty are not pretty. And like, we level up the game, right?
I don't know if like what age our audience will be, but it's kind of like when you were a young kid and you ate like the Pop Rocks, like you eat the cookie and it's like exploding flavor and like everything.
Euphoric. Yeah. That's I always tell people that haven't tasted it, it's something you've never experienced between the packaging, because that's an important aspect of it. It's the whole package. It's for all the senses, and that's what we all love. You know, that's what we thrive on. That's what we're motivated from. So the packaging has the meaning of the crystals on the bottom. Then you get the actual cookie, which is the top is a confectionery crunch, a really light crunch that's all hand painted, and then a silky smooth layer of frosting to the bottom, which is a buttery shortbread base, chocolate chip and plain, I do. And then the colors, you know, how can you not smile? How can it not change your outlook on your day when you receive something beautiful, you know?
Absolutely, 100%. They're so good. They're not good for bikini season, but they're good for everything else.
Life's a balance, everything in moderation. That's the way I look at life. You know, like, it's funny. You'll see me on my Instagram story. I'll have my green smoothie and I'll have my cookie. It's a balance, you know?
Yeah.
You got to be able to enjoy life. And that's the thing also, is like not to take things too seriously. So much is so difficult. There's so much heaviness in the world, especially right now. You know, find a way to find your happy. And that's basically like my number one drive of why I started Good Vibes and why I keep pushing forward. Is everyone says, in your dream, you know, what's your biggest dream? And I said, just to be happy, you know, to remember what that feels like. And every day I get to, like, no matter how bad my day is, I'm painting cookies, I'm sending them to amazing people, and I'm making them happy. How can that not reflect back at me, right?
No, that's phenomenal. Absolutely, yeah. Do you think I can invite myself to the next time you go to Havana?
Let's go now.
Yeah. Why don't we take level up on the road, you know?
Actually, my next hot spot that I'm determined is Morocco. That's where what I'm talking about. That's
okay.
But you know where you need to go is Colombia. That was the game changer.
No, I was supposed to go there in December. It was just Ricky and I. We were gonna maybe level it up there too. And it's gonna be 2021.
Yeah, Colombia. Like once my pivot happened and I was divorced, I was determined to see more of the world and change my view. And Colombia was a huge game changer for me.
I've heard a lot of good stuff, all the islands that surround it.
But I'm not opposed. Let's go to Cuba. I'll go there too. I have a few.
We'll work it out. When the ban is lifted, we'll see where we're at.
Tell Ricky, take your calls. We'll be back.
Yeah, right. Right. Well, anyways, thank you so much. I hope to have you on the show again, because you are always shaking and moving, and there's always new things coming up. And I can't wait to see where you go from here, because I know that next time you might even have a conversation about a t-shirt line or something going on in the works.
Yeah, t-shirts, candle line. I have a few things to, I'm always keeping you on your toes.
Yeah.
And myself.
Stay tuned for after. I will give you all the information for Good Vibes Cookie Company. And Jodi Mannis, you are an awesome woman, entrepreneur, rock star, superstar.
Thank you. Rock on, babe.